Yo guys, what is up? My name is Niu or NYU, however you want to call it. Today I will give you my perspective as a G3 RTA player about artifacts. In this video you will learn what every artifact stat exactly does, how good each stat is based on my opinion as an RTA player. I will give examples where you can use the stats, but keep in mind there's also a lot of trash stats. Before we start, big shoutout goes to Trahorik, I don't know how to spell the name. He made the picture you see right now. It gives every single artifact stat a own picture. Since Come To Us has nothing like that in game, I will use that. Before we start, I mentioned RTA like 2 times, but don't worry, this video is not only about RTA, we also consider artifacts in Siege, Arena, etc. as well. So, let's start. Okay guys, so we are not a clickbait channel or whatever, so we don't let you wait. We start with the most important stat in the game for RTA, additional damage. Many people doesn't really understand how it exactly works. Please listen carefully. Maybe watch this part again and again. This is really important. Okay, let's start. The facts about the additional damage are: it's a low amount of damage based on all the stats your monster has, so base stats, rune stats, tower and leader skill. The additional damage itself is defense ignoring. The damage you gain is counted for each single hit. Let's say you have 2 units with the exact same stats and the same additional damage artifacts. The only difference is that monster 1 has a skill with 1 single hit, monster 2 has a skill with 3 hits. Let's say the damage without artifacts with the skill is 300 and the damage you gain by additional damage is 1000. That would mean that monster 1 would do 300 plus 1000 damage, so it would be 1300 damage. Monster 2 would do 1000 plus 1000 damage times 3, so 3300 damage. We can already see additional damage does way more on a unit that does multi-hits. Insanely well does it work on units like Oracle or Panda family with skill 1 that has 3 hits. The additional damage is insanely high based on the fact that the base damage for some units is like 100 or 200 damage. As a good example, my Juno. Without artifacts she does like 450 damage each hit. With artifacts she does 1750 damage each hit. Okay, so we know that the additional damage is really insane, but where is additional damage not good? Additional damage is not good on units that are ruined on crit damage most of the time. Why? Because they gain with damage to X, Y element or crit damage, X, Y skill, whatever. They gain with those kind of stats more damage than with additional damage. One exception is, I think, Julie. She does with additional damage more damage than with crit damage. Also, additional damage is not good on units that have no multi skills. So often I see new beginners who put like additional damage speed, 2 or 3 rolls, whatever, on just units that are fast. But that's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. So my personal opinion on additional damage. Additional damage changed everything. This is the best set on artifacts. Surely not for every unit, but an RTA player mostly can't play without it, except Cleaver. Additional damage artifact as example let me use Fang Yan in RTA, even as a G3 player. Okay guys, so we have additional damage done. Let's go to the next big baller in the game. Damage taken from elementals. This is the most used stat for Siege and Arena, also really important in RTA. The facts are simple. You receive less damage from the element your artifact has as stat. Example, Juno has no artifact. Enemy Molong skill 3 does 30,000 damage. Okay, Juno has 15% water damage reduce on artifact. Molong does 15% less damage, aka 4500, so only 25,500 damage. There's nothing really to explain about the stat, and the example you saw, it also works for Molong. It does not work against Bulwark. If you know what enemies will attack your monster, you can counter really well with that in Siege, if you attack defenses. In Arena it's important for illusion proof defense, or in RTA it's nice to get not one-shotted by Molong as example. My personal opinion, really strong stat that is mostly used in Siege. The stat is also strong in RTA, mostly on support units. You see, I rushed through the stats, so now we go to damage taken from element. Let's go. It's the same as the stat before. It's straight damage added to the damage we already did. Example with Molong and Juno again. Molong skill 3 does 30,000 damage against the enemy Juno without artifacts. With 10% damage against fire, our Molong does 10% more, so exactly 3000. This is a total damage of 33,000 damage he does now. There's also not very much to explain about that, maybe as an info. It does work on skills like Molong skill 3, Icarus skill 3, Wusa skill 2, etc. It does not work for Bulwark again. My personal opinion on that stat is really strong in PvE like giants, dragons, whatever if you don't use dot team, or in RTA on some damage units like Masha, Deafness, snipe units with more long, or any crit damage units. Many Molongs in RTA have plus win damage to get an easier snipe. It's also nice for arena offense on like Lucian. For Siege it's also nice because you sometimes want to snipe some specific unit in the defense. It's an overall good stat. Alright, so the next stat is accuracy. Accuracy. Yeah, we can obtain accuracy in skill 1, 2 or skill 3. Where is it good? Obviously on every unit that needs to land something. Example, strippers or Changpong skill 2, whatever, or wind monkey with skill 2 that defense breaks. It's always a good stat to have, mostly to compensate the accuracy, because the unit is ruined more efficient, so stats except accuracy. It works also for passives that needs accuracy. Example, Leo. Leo passive, so skill 3, does ATKbar reduce. If you do accuracy skill 3 on Leo, the chance of ATKbar reduce on skill 1 and skill 2 has more accuracy. If you would do skill 1 on Leo, it would just higher the chance of dot, not ATKbar reduce. Okay, let's go with something cool. Recovery skill 1, 2 and 3. Sounds simple? It is simple. It can be used on 2 different ways. The first way is the most logical one, on a healer. Example, Fran heals 10,000 with skill 2. With 20% healing skill 2 artifact, she will now heal for 12,000. Please keep in mind, this can also be used on passives like Perna, Molly, Chow, blah blah blah. The second way is to use healing on a unit that heals with a skill that does damage or on a unit that is on Vampire. Yep. You listened right, your Leica is completely busted with that. Example, Leica is on Vamp and he does 10,000 with skill 2. 35% Vamp, so he heals 3,500. With 20% recovery skill 2, he heals 700 more. 4,200 in total. My personal opinion. Really strong in RTA on like a Molly or a Bellew. Same goes for arena defense. Also for my Leica that is ruined against Leo is trapped with Vamp, that heal himself full life on every single revenge. I think I don't have to mention Siege where Lulu or whatever healer is really strong. So overall, healing skill 1 to 3 is a really strong stat. Let us do some trash artifact stats and bound them together. It's fast and easy, but keep in mind that you can use some of them, so don't forget to roll the arties at least in case it goes all in one stat. HP plus when revived. If the unit that has that artifact on gets revived, it comes back with the added HP percent. If it's plus 50% as example, the unit will have plus 15% HP. My opinion, it's actually not really good, it's nearly completely trash. Maybe on a Nana it can work, but in my opinion that's it. But it's just work on Nana itself done, so even then it's not really great. I don't know, man. ATKbar when revived. If the unit that has that artifact on gets revived, it comes back with the added ATKbar percent. If it's plus 15%, unit will have plus 15% ATKbar. Easy example. My opinion, it's trash as well, except on the Water and Dark Demon. There you can use that. But I don't know, if a unit dies, it most of the time doesn't really matter if he gets ATKbar or not, because he's mostly low HP, so dies anyway. And those little boosts most likely won't cut the enemy. So it's not a really good stat. The next, in my opinion, trash stat is the Vampire effect. What it does, it boosts also the recovery damage skills and Vampire set units, same as recovery. It also works with Vamp loss effect, but I guess that's kinda no one cares. I don't think that I need to explain it, since it's the same as recovery. My opinion, not really good, works only for like a Leica or other Vamp unit. Of course you can, if you have a high road, you can put it on a Leica or on a Vamp unit. Sure, it will do the thing, but it's overall not like a good stat. It's more likely to be a trash stat. Okay, let's complete the trash list with the last stat. Oh wait, little spoiler, the baddest stat in the game will come at the complete end of the video, so stay tuned. Now we go with revenge damage. I mean, come on, how many units revenge need to do damage? There's Miho, maybe Leica, but on both skill 1 crit damage is better, so just don't use that stat, it's a waste. Now let's check the niche stats. They are most probably also going fast. They are not that hard to explain. Most of them are only in unique situations good. I try to explain those situations for you, no problem. Let's start with damage dealt together. I don't think I have to explain it a lot. Use this with your Tricaru team or with like twins. The damage gain is nice to have. It's also relevant in Siege, since there are some team up combos. It's nice to have this as bonus, of course. Okay, we rushed through the stats. Next one is bomb damage. Here it's also not that much to say about. On bombers this surely can work, like in Special League on a Water Joker it's not that bad. On a Sierra you actually just want additional damage, so it's useless there. How is the calculation? Very simple. If your bomb does 10,000 damage and you got plus 10% bomb damage, the bomb will do 11,000 damage instead. Easy. Let's talk about 3 stats many people believe is good, but it's actually not really. I talk about defense, attack or speed increase when HP is low. There's not that much to say about. This stat is based on base stat, what makes it instant bad. There are 2 to 3 really rare examples where it's not trash, but in nearly all other cases it is. Examples where it can be used. Attack when HP low works on Sama or Xian, the water joker. It also works for Dark and Water Demon, but beside that, Defense when HP low works well on Leona, but as well, beside that, I don't know. Speed when HP low works on some bruisers as side stat when you have plays. Example Molly, after minus element reduce and after healing skill free, it's okay to have some speed when low HP. It's not that bad. This counts for all supporters that don't need more stats like accuracy and stuff. So if you have it on those, it's not that bad. It can be also cool to sometimes cut, especially together with Nemesis, but this is a complete different topic and is way too big to explain right now. So the next stat is not always good, but if you do it on the right mon, it can be really strong. Buff effect. We have 3 different types of buff effect. The 2 I want to talk first are defense and attack effect. Both work the same. If the unit that has that artifact stat has the buff, it gets from the buff more value. As an example, let's say your Megan buffs and has defense and attack buff effect. Only she will get the buff, not the units she buff. So, of course, the normal buffs they will get, but not the bonus effect. So, the unit itself that need the buff, like Illusion, this unit needs this buff to do more damage. Okay, let's make the calculation. The defense buff is 70%. If you have an artifact with like 10% bonus, you get a defense buff worth of 77%. Easy math. Attack buff is 50%, and if you have like an artifact with 10% bonus, you get an attack buff worth of 55%. There's nothing really to explain, it's an easy math. This effect sets are really great on units that are played always with buff, and it actually matters a lot. Example on Lucian, Copper, Bulldozer, or whatever. So, by the way, nice side fact. Like on a Copper or on a Bulldozer, if you do defense buff effect, it does way more damage than with crit damage skill 3, single target crit damage or whatever. Trust me guys, trust me. My opinion on this stats? I mean, I already said it. It's a good start for like arena offense on Lucian or some siege offenses. In RTA this bonus is most of the time useless, only good if you cleave. The third and last buff effect is speed. This is a little different. First, my personal opinion, it's really not that great and thus in my opinion only matters in one exact situation. Sure, it's cool to have a little more speed from a buff, but it doesn't really matter that much to be honest. The exact situation it can be really good you ask? Let's say you have a team comp with Tableau and RTA. Your third last unit before Tableau is as example a Sekhmet or Edna. If you give this exact unit speed effect, this unit will after Tableau did skill 3 most likely not come as third unit. Nope, it will move as first unit. That means in case of like Sekhmet or Edna, you can like defense break before your other units move. This can be really game breaking, trust me. Okay guys, let's go to the last category of the video, crit damage. We start with a really simple one. Crit damage skill 1, 2, 3, wait, did I forget something? Come on, skill 4 is just not relevant, so let's skip that shit. Crit damage skill 1, 2 or 3 is obviously insanely good on crit damage units like Lucian, Copper, Bulldozer, so all that units rune on crit damage with the best skill. I think I don't need to explain a lot here, it's just added crit damage. Single target crit damage is the next one. This one is actually also simple. It's a good way to go on that stat mostly on units that have passives and only 2 damage skills, obviously, while being ruined on crit damage. Good examples are like Masha, Fire Monkey, Wind Monkey or blah blah blah. Not that great is the stat on units that have mostly just one relevant damage skill or it's an AoE, like Lucian, Copper, Bulldozer. If you have those stats on them as additional stat, sure it's nice but not to prioritize. The last added crit damage stats are crit damage to low and crit damage to high HP. How do they work? Let's start with damage to high HP. Basically, if you have as example 10% crit damage on high HP, the enemy unit has 100% HP. Your unit has the entire plus 10% crit damage bonus. Let's say the unit has only 50% max HP, then you have just 5% crit damage. So you see, it's actually easier than many people thought the math is. My opinion, crit damage high HP is really strong on one-shot units like Copper, Kali, Covenant, etc. Crit damage to low HP is the exact opposite. If the unit is max HP, I guess it gives 0% crit damage, maybe 1, I'm not sure. If the enemy has like 1% HP, you get the entire bonus of that stat. My opinion on those. It's nice to have on some multiple crit damage units. As example, on Lucian or Boulders it's nice to have both, but it's not the best stat like the crit damage low, because if the unit is near death you mostly don't need on the last hit even more damage, since it's already near death anyways. Still a nice to have stat, if you have it as additional stat just on your units. Let's end the video with the worst stat of all artifacts. Minus crit damage. What the fuck? I actually don't really want to say much about that. It's just not good. As example, the Lucian with plus 2500 attack and 200 crit damage hits you. You have a quad roll of minus crit damage, so like 20%. The artifact just reduces 200 crit damage to 210, obvious. So all other stats like artifact stats, attack value, element damage, etc. from the Lucian stays. In short, this means it reduces the damage like nearly nothing. Don't use that bullshit stat. Okay. I have to say, sometimes in some situations on Siege, if you want to reduce the damage on the support or whatever, on the right artifact side, it's okay to use minus crit damage, since there's no other way to reduce the damage. Okay guys, I will say that's it. If you have questions about anything I said, or more questions about artifact itself or whatever, don't worry, just ask in YouTube comments, I will answer you for sure. If you have feedback or want to tell me something, also feel free to write a comment and maybe like the video if you liked it. I wish you a good day, good night, whatever, depends on the time you see this video. So stay tuned and have a great day. Bye!